So, welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Misty. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, Misty, tell the listeners about you and what started you on this journey of helping women find their beauty in and out.
Yeah, so I was a makeup artist for the last 20 years, and I loved transformation. I loved before and after makeovers. I loved helping women see their own beauty and feel beautiful when they look in the mirror. And that led me to teaching makeup lessons and doing a lot of makeovers over the years. And about 8 years ago, I started on a weight loss journey personally, and I lost about 65 pounds. And a lot of my clients wanted to know what I was doing, so I thought, you know what, let's add health and wellness to the Beauty Inside and Out brand. So I started weight loss coaching and helping people to transform physically their bodies with nutrition inside and out. And I've been doing that now for the last 8 years. But I would say about 3 years ago, personally, it was during the pandemic. It was just a really down time. I couldn't work my business the way I wanted to, as most people. And I fell into a little bit of a depression. And I was really struggling. And normally I'm a very positive, upbeat person. And I just was really struggling. And then, of course, I was beating myself up because I was struggling because this isn't like me. And I ended up going through a really bad breakup and just had to end a really toxic relationship. And that led me to a path of self-love, realizing that I deserved better and realizing that you teach people how to treat you. And I wasn't being treated the way I deserved to be treated. And I was struggling to make this relationship work. And, a friend of mine said to me, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure." She said, "Why would you want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to be in a relationship with, or who isn't willing to be an equal partner with you? Don't you think you deserve that?" And it was kind of like a light bulb moment for me. And I thought, wow, that's not really love, that's attachment. And it really made me kind of take a look at the relationship and own my part in it, of course. And I stayed way longer than I should have, and I dealt with more abuse than I should have because I didn't feel I deserved more, and I didn't really. I thought I loved myself, but once I kind of dug deeper into it, I realized that I didn't love myself the way I thought. I loved myself conditionally. Some of you might be able to relate to this. I'll look in the mirror and I look okay, but I'd really look great if I lost 50 pounds. Or I'll really feel better when, or I'll love myself more when. And there was always a condition. And I recognized that I wasn't fully accepting myself, the good, the bad, the ugly. And really that's what self-love is all about, is self-acceptance and, the love that you give to others, giving yourself the same love. So that was kind of what started me on the journey. And I spent about 2 years just working on myself and just really trying to become the best person that I could be so that my insides matched my outsides. And I realized that no amount of makeup, no amount of weight loss is going to fix how I was feeling about myself on the inside. And I was trying, retail therapy and alcohol and unhealthy things to try to make myself feel better. And it just wasn't working. And it wasn't until I really got radically honest with myself and really owned my part in this toxic relationship and recognized the cycles of bad behavior and recognized that I stayed in that relationship and I chose to allow someone to treat me that way. So I had to own my part and then I was able to begin healing.
That's an incredible story, Misty. So, Misty, you began to love yourself before you were in the relationship or after you were in the relationship, or when you were in the relationship and you got out and you saw what you're going through, that's the time you started to love yourself?
So, yeah, so I thought that I loved myself. And, growing up, I look back over it now and I remember looking in the mirror and I remember my mom saying, "Get out of the mirror," like calling me vain and being ashamed that I thought I was pretty because you think you're so pretty, like it was a bad thing. So I kind of grew up thinking that self-love and self-care was vain and not a good thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought I love myself because I think I'm a pretty good person. And it wasn't until I went through this toxic relationship that I realized that I deserve better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was allowing myself to be treated poorly because I didn't love myself the way I should. I didn't love myself unconditional.
So when you started that journey into self-loving yourself, did you say affirmations to yourself? Like, how did you go about doing that? Did you just got into it, or was there
So
some steps
yeah, so
along
I
the way?
went through a really bad breakup and I was at the lowest of lows and I thought like I can't stay here. And I had to recognize that I was keeping myself stuck. I was, I just kept replaying it in my head and just, thinking this man doesn't want me, this man doesn't love me, I can't love him enough, I can't make him love me. There must be something wrong with me. And it took me recognizing that I deserve better, having a good conversation with a friend that could kind of pull me out of it and recognize that I deserve better, that I started to acknowledge that
Mhm.
and really look into it. And I learned about attachment theories. And, a lot of people think they know what love is, but, love is often confused with attachment. And I had been struggling with abandonment issues and codependency. So those were both, part of an unhealthy attachment style. So when I learned about attachment styles, I kind of recognized like, oh, okay, so this is why I was doing what I was doing. And, I learned about narcissism and codependency, and I really just spent a lot of time working on those things. And that led me to healing childhood trauma and just kind of rediscovering myself and learning to set boundaries for myself and be more authentic to myself because I felt like I was wearing a mask. I had a strong social media presence and everyone saw me as the makeup artist, always on point, always perfect. But I had a lot of crap going on that nobody knew about. And, I was struggling and I felt like I was living two different lives. And, part of that was me not fully accepting myself, the good, the bad, the ugly. In order to fully love yourself, you have to love all of yourself. And that's really what I had to struggle with and really work on.
So would you say that the self-love that you have obtained right now, has that built your self-confidence? Do you see it?
Absolutely.
Great, excellent.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I did the work. You hear people talking about doing the work, and for me, the work looked like researching why I am the way I am, and researching abandonment and um, daddy issues and just all the things that led me down this path and made me who I am, and that led me to journaling, which has been helpful. Affirmations. I listen to affirmations every day. I journal and meditate every day and I was resistant to those things because I kind of thought they were silly for a while. But the more research I did and the more work I did, it's like everybody's saying the same thing. Everyone is saying you should be journaling, meditating, and doing affirmations. And I'm like, all these successful people, all these coaches, all these gurus, they're all telling you to do the same thing. Like, why am I not listening? Why am I resisting this? And about 2 years ago, I started doing these things and I set up a morning routine and a nighttime routine. And that's my self-care. That's something that I do for myself every day. And I'm worth it. I'm worth that 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes before bed. And it has made such a huge difference in my life.
I always say it's the story that you tell yourself. You want to tell yourself the right stories. And that's a way of kind of giving yourself a little self-love by telling yourself those stories and uplifting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the way I kind of sometimes put it, because it's a story I tell myself that uplift me and give me that self-confidence. So with you saying your affirmations, that's like telling yourself stories that that you want to hear, like stories that you want yourself to hear, like I am this, I am that, I am that, like stories that will build you up. And that's a great thing. Excellent, Misty. So, what are some of the self love locks that can discourage us from loving ourselves?
Yeah, so I just launched a new website, mistyleboy.com. And on that website, I have a self-love quiz for all the listeners. And the self-love quiz will help you identify your self-love block. What's keeping you stuck? What's keeping you from fully loving yourself and having the best relationship with yourself? We talk about relationships all the time, but the most important relationship, of course, is the one with yourself. And this will definitely help you with that. It's just a 2-minute quiz and it will identify your major block. And then it will also give you the key, your key to success, the key that's going to help you unlock it. So I'll share with you quickly the 5 love locks. They
Okay.
represent common challenges that women face in their journey to self love.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is rejection, internalizing negative beliefs about yourself, having issues with self acceptance and self worth. It's like absorbing hurtful feelings about yourself and struggling to embrace who you are and really understanding your true value. The next one is doubt. So, doubt is that nagging uncertainty that hinders you from fully believing in your abilities and potential.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that lingering uncertainty that stops you from fully embracing how awesome you are and the potential that you. Then we have pleaser. I'm sure a lot of people can identify as a pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
People pleasing, prioritizing others' needs and desires over your own, often at the expense of your well-being and authentic self. It's about always putting others first, sometimes even at the cost of taking care of yourself and being true to yourself. Then we have image, and image I have found is a very common one as well. So this is problems with your self-image, not appreciating your physical appearance or personal identity, resulting in feelings that you're not measuring up, feeling like you don't see your own beauty and uniqueness. And I know so many women struggle with having confidence and a positive body image. And that's something that I work with a lot of clients on. And the last one is neglect. So, neglect is forgetting to prioritize self care. Busy moms really struggle with this. They put everyone else first and they're not taking care of themselves. And, I always tell people it's like the analogy when you're on the airplane and the oxygen mask drop. You can't save anyone else before you save yourself. So you got to put your own mask on first. So neglect is about taking, prioritizing self care and, remembering to take care of yourself first.
So, Misty, what services do you offer on your website? Do you have speaking engagements that if a listener is listening to, that they can call you up? Do you have seminars coming up? What exactly are your services?
Yes. So I am a transformation coach. So those that are local to me in the Philadelphia area, I do makeup and makeup lessons, and I do weight loss coaching. That's virtual. So, I can connect you with the plan and the program that helped me lose 65 pounds and keep it off for almost 8 years now. And then the self-love coaching. So I do a 12-week program and it is group and guided. And we do one-on-one sessions to really dive deeper into these topics that have really just helped me learn to love myself unconditionally. And once a month, I do offer a free Zoom lesson for everyone. Last month, we did confidence and body image. And next month, we're going to be doing connecting with your inner goddess. So those are just, things that I'm offering just that to be of service to others and to help as many people as I can.
A person who has been struggling with low self-esteem for years was told from a child that they were not beautiful. How does that person find self-love?
So it starts with self-acceptance. So it starts with finding something beautiful about yourself. And a lot of times I'll have my clients do a mirror exercise where they sit in front of a mirror, alone time with a mirror, and really get to know yourself intimately and stare into that mirror and find something beautiful about yourself. Find something that you love and tell yourself that you love it and speak it out loud and show yourself the love that you didn't get from someone else. And you can even start small. I know I've worked with clients that have such struggles with their body image that they can't find anything. You know, you can start with your heart. It can be internal. How about your organs, your stomach that allows you to eat food and processes food for you, your eyes that let you see beauty, your ears that let you hear music. So often women focus on that one thing or two things that they hate about themselves, like I hate my thighs. But don't focus on the one thing you hate. Focus on the 99 other things that are great about you because what you focus on magnifies and multiplies. So why would we want to magnify and multiply things that we don't like? We're just going to get more of that. So I really encourage my clients to just use the affirmations and, it has to be affirmations, though, have to be something that you believe. I am are two of the most powerful words that you can speak. It's your ask to the universe. But if you don't believe it, it's just going to make you feel worse. Like I've been working on money affirmations, and one of them is I am a millionaire. And I am not a millionaire, and I don't believe that I'm going to be a millionaire. That's not even a goal that I want, to be honest with you. So
Mm-hmm.
for me to say a millionaire, I have that little voice in my head that says, no, you're not. You're never going to be a millionaire. So it has to be affirmations that you believe, or are close to believing that you can get there. Even instead of saying, I love my body, you can say, I'm working on loving my body. That feels true. That feels good. So that's one important tip when working with affirmations, that you have to feel them and you have to envision them and embody them. It's not writing down 100 times I'm going to be a millionaire and then you're manifesting the money. It has to really be felt inherently.
Well said. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have any last words for the listeners on embracing their full self and telling themselves the right stories to uplift themselves?
Yeah. So you can be your biggest cheerleader or you can be your biggest critic. It's still you and it's still the same person. So you always have a choice of which voice that you're going to listen to. So I always tell people like shut that bitch up. That critic that says those nasty things. Like if you wouldn't say that to your child, you wouldn't say that to your best friend. Why are you saying it to yourself? And it takes repetition and it takes work to unlearn those bad behaviors because we've been doing it for years, telling ourselves we're not good enough and we're fat and we're ugly and whatever the nasty thing is that you say to yourself, that is not serving you in any way. You are not going to hate yourself thin. You are not going to hate yourself better. It doesn't work that way. You can only love yourself and grow from that. So be more mindful of your self-talk and stop the negative self-talk and just reprogram by using positive affirmations, by even awareness is half the battle. You have to be aware that you're doing it because our subconscious mind is running 95% and we're not even aware of it. But turn that critic into a cheerleader because we have enough haters out there. You don't need to be one of them. You need to be your biggest fan. So that's my best advice is to just work on your self-talk and learn to love yourself because you were born worthy. You don't need to earn anyone's love or anyone's, worth. You are already worthy. You are already good enough. You just have to believe that.
Wow, excellent, Misty. Well, thank you for being on Beauty of Colors podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.